Hi. In the previous video, we talked regarding the von Neumann machine architecture and as well as MIMD architectures for the data flow testing machines we are using. So now, what are the things, what are the various steps relevant to the von Neumann architecture now we are going to see. So the von Neumann architecture, as I told in the previous, one instruction can get executed at one particular time and fetch the instruction from the memory, the first one, and it interpret the instruction and fetch operands, process or execute, store result, increment the program counter, and again go to the step one. So these are the things done by the von Neumann architecture actually. So it will extract the instruction from the memory. It will execute the it can fetch the instruction from the memory, interpret the instruction in its required required language, and fetch the operands are required for execution of the instruction and execute that particular instruction and store the result whatever we got for the instruction and increment the program counter. Again, it reaches to the step 1. Again, it goes to step 1 like this. And again, fetching the instruction from the memory and interpret the instruction and fetch operands and process or execution or store the result and increment the program count. Like that, this this process only it follows one by one, serial order, the process followed by the von Neumann architecture. Now coming to the second one, that is multi-instruction multi-data machine architecture. So what is multi-instruction multi-data machine architecture? Here several instructions can get executed at one single point of time. Okay, that means in parallel all the executions can be done in parallel, and it also can be done the arithmetic and logical operations on the different data objects. Not only the execution of the several instructions at one particular time, it can also do the arithmetic and logical operations at one particular time. And then the decision of how to sequence them, various kinds of the data objects, that can be dependent upon the compiler. So what is the difference between von Neumann and MIMD architectures? As we know, all of you, von Neumann follows the serial execution, sequential execution, whereas MIMD follows the parallel execution. Apart from the parallel execution, it can also do the arithmetic and logical operations well. Now, how can we assume a bug in the data flow testing? What are the situations where we can assume the bug? Okay, the bug assumption for the data flow testing strategies is that number one, the control flow is normally right, but whenever any wrong in the control flow, it is a first bug assumption. Number two, data objects are not available. Whenever the data objects are not created, but you are using the data objects, that is the another kind of the bug assumption. And number three, there are some silly operations and silly things done by the data objects. And number four, there is a control flow problem is there. That is also one of the buggy situation. And number five, any errors or any unexpected things are detected by the data flow analysis. That is the bug assumption number five. So normally in the data flow testing, there are five different types of the bug prone situations or buggy situations, or we can assume the bugs in various kinds of the situations. Number one, control flow. Is there any mismatch in the control flow? And data objects are not created, but we are using, and silly operations done by the data objects, and there is a problem in the control flow, and there is a problem in the data flow analysis. So based on these five factors, we can assume the bug is existing in the data flow testing. Okay, now we are going to see the data flow graphs. What are the data flow graphs? A data flow graph is a graph which consisting of some set of nodes and as well as the directed links. Okay, so these are the links, those are nothing but directed links. We will use a control graph to show what happens the data objects of interest at the moment. According to the data objects, their life, how they are going to change, everything we can show with the help of this data flow graphs. So this is one example of the data flow graph where you can show some data flow objects, how they are initialized, how they are finalizing like this from the initial state to the end state, like LDT are representing here, how they are forwarded to multiple number of the states, and how they are forward here. D is there, how it is working, and similarly here L is there, how it is forwarding from initial state to the end state. So like this we can represent multiple number of the data objects in one single data flow graph, their entire life execution, their entire lifetime we can represent. Okay, so what is a data object state and usage, now we are going to see. Okay, so what is a data object actually? Okay, so data objects normally they can be created, killed, and as well as used. They can be used in two distinct ways. Number one, in a calculation. Number two, as a part of the control flow predicate. Okay, so data objects normally can be created, killed, and as well as used. And they can be used in different kinds of the ways like create, calculation, and control flow predicate. Okay, so what are the symbols that are going to represent for the data object state? Whenever we have defined any one of the data object, that can be represented by a letter called D. D stands for defined, created, and initialized. And next one is killed. Whenever you don't want to use any kind of the data object, simply you can undefine it by killing it or releasing it from the memory. Okay, and coming to the third one is usage. The particular created data object can be used for anything, that is used for something. Remember, whenever you create or define the data object, then only it can be used for something. Normally data objects can be used for calculations, and P they can use it for predicates. These are the two different purposes for the data objects. So, what are the various states of the data objects now? Defined or created or initialized. The next one is killed, undefined, or released. And number three is used for any kind of the purposes. The first one is in calculations, and second one is used in predicates. These are the various three the possibilities for the data objects. And what are the data flow anomalies? Normally, data flow anomalies are represented with the help of some actions. So, two character sequence of actions can be represented by the data flow anomalies. Anomalies can be represented by two character sequence of actions. These are nothing but some set of anomaly is nothing but some set of the actions of the data objects on the data objects that can be represented by using two characters. Okay, so what are the two characters now? We are going to see. The very first one is KU. KU means what? Killed, used. K stands for killed. Previously we have seen K for killed and U for used. D for defined. Remember. Okay, so these are the actions only we are representing in the anomalies. First is the K. Second is the D for defined. Sorry. D for defined. And next one is U for used. Only these three things only we represent in the anomalies. KU means what? Killed and used. And the second one, DD means what? Defined and defined. That means we are going to define twice the data object without an intervening its usage. So these are the best example of the data flow anomalies. Apart from this, we are having some multiple number of the data flow anomalies. Just now we are going to see now. Here the one is the first one is DD. So what is the DD here? Okay, so DD is nothing but defined and defined. So once defined, again there is no need to define. So it is one kind of the suspicious situation. Sometimes it leads to bugs. Define can be done only done, but not twice. Okay, so why to define the object twice without an intervening usage? So this is one kind of the suspicious or buggy situation. The next one is defined and killed. Once you defined, you have to use it. You should not kill it before using it. So that's why it is a bug. Once you define and killing means it you have to use it. Without using it, you are killing means it's a buggy prone situation. Okay. And next one is define use. Okay, it is good. Once you have defined, the purpose of the define is only for used. So it is a normal situation, no problem. There is no bugs are existing in this particular anomaly. Coming to the fourth anomaly, KD, killed defined. Once you killed any kind of the data object, again you can